Are you a senior that is having trouble understanding their email? Well, today in this video, I'm going to teach you 3 concepts that will make you a pro. Mary has come into our tech department with a problem looking at Google Photos. She has taken a number of photos on her Samsung phone and has uploaded these to Google Photos. She has brought her laptop in, but these pictures are not on Google Photos on the laptop. Her complaint to you in our tech department is the phone is not syncing to the laptop. How would you manage this? And let me show you how easy this is after you understand these 3 concepts I'm going to talk about today. Well, I'm Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. At Tech for Senior, we make videos to help seniors understand technology. If you want to be kept up to date as new videos come out, be sure and click the subscribe and notification bell below. And then we'll send you a personal notification when we release new videos. Now let's get on with understanding these 3 concepts regarding email. Now the first thing you need to know is what the name of your Google account is and its password. This is so important. The name of your Google account is set up originally when you created the account, and it cannot be changed. This is the name that you will always use. You've probably forgotten about that now because it's a long time since you set this up. When you created it, it probably was created as you were accessing a service with Google, or else when you had your first Android phone. And in most cases, it's best to have only one Google account, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And you must know the name and the password of your account. This is so important. It is a lifelong account that you'll use as you purchase new Android phones, or you connect a Chromebook or other service to your Google account. So please know this and don't forget it. Now, the name on your Google account is usually your Gmail address, but not necessarily. When you set your account up, there is an option to choose another name, so it may not always be your Gmail address. Once set up, you cannot change your account name. Now, most of you identify a Google email address as @gmail.com. This is not entirely true. Recently, we saw a big telco company, TELUS.net, in Canada. They got rid of their email service to Gmail. You actually kept your same email address, so it could be 123456 at telus.net, and that now is a Gmail account. So your Gmail account does not always show at gmail.com. So let's have a look and see what you get with your Google account. Well, with your Google account, you get Google Drive, and this is 15 gigabytes of cloud storage. Now within that, you get some software. For all of those who are paying for Office 365, you get Google's version for free. Google Docs is a document processing, Google Sheets is a spreadsheet, and of course Google Slides is like PowerPoint and presentation software. This software is free and it comes on your Google Drive. You have Gmail, Google Photos, Google Calendar, Google Contact, Google Groups, Google Maps, and Google Sites, which is a web building software and what we use for Tech for Seniors website. If you've been there, you'll see that was built with Google Sites, Google Chat, and you also have the abilities to start a YouTube channel. Plus, there's about 20 or 30 more services associated with your Google account that I'm not going to list today or would be here too long. All this is part of your Google account. So Sally is a retired teacher who you're seeing in our tech department. She tells you the following. She doesn't trust Google. She has an iPhone and an iPad. She uses Apple email service or iCloud Mail, and she tells you she's never had a Google account. In further discussion with you, she does use Google Photos because her friends do. What would you tell Sally, and why would it be important? Well, now that you know what a Google account is, you understand that Google Photos is part of a Google account. So if Sally did create Google Photos, she had to create a Google account. You can't have part of the service. It's sort of all or none. So Sally does have a Google account. Now, why would this be important? Well, she needs to know the name and password of that, because if she ever decides to get an Android phone, then she will need her username and password to get all her Google Photos in the account. Well, you see Larry, the retired accountant who comes to our tech department. He tells you that he doesn't use Google. He only has Office 365, and he has an iPhone for his mobile data. He tells you, though, that he's going to purchase a Samsung S22. What should you tell Larry? Well, as you know, Larry is going to have to establish a Google account with his Android phone. The first thing he'll be asked to do as he sets up his S22 is to put in his Google username and password. The important thing here is I don't believe that Larry has gone all through his life without having a Google account. He probably has a Google account in the past, and it's important that he tries to remember what that is with his Google name and password, because his data will be in there. Very likely he probably has some Google Photos or some services that he's used in the past. If he knows what that is, then he'll be able to access that through his new phone. Now, the second point I'd like to make is it's generally a good idea to just have one email address associated with one Google account. This keeps things simpler, and certainly when you're dealing with mobile issues, causes a lot less confusion. Let's look at Mary's problem that we discussed at the beginning. Mary, in fact, came to Silver Ridge Resort and saw us in our tech department to solve this problem. She was only there for a month, as she told me, as she just got assigned as the secretary to her church. She told me while she was in Mesa, she continued to look at the church's Gmail account and was able to get ready for her job when she returned. She was sending out Gmail through the church's Gmail account. In fact, what Mary had been doing when she was taking pictures around Silveridge, they were being uploaded into the church's Google Photos account. In fact, we saw the last secretary and the secretary before's pictures in the church's Google account. Mary said to me, well, the church does not have a Google Photos account. Again, she doesn't understand that once you have a Gmail account, you have a Google account, and associated with that is a Google Photos account. So the problem was Mary's photos were going into the wrong account, which is common when you are switching accounts on a mobile device. So the third concept that you need to know is do not share your email address. Sharing an email address like Mary and John do is really not a good idea. To have an email address like maryandjohn@gmail.com and share this creates all sorts of problems. It makes security very difficult and two-factor authentication almost impossible. You really should have one Google account and one phone. As your health changes in the future, you may need to limit access to certain accounts, such as your bank account. This becomes very difficult with a shared account. So please, each one of you needs to have their own Google account and their own email address with their own cell phone. So it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. The three concepts you need to know. Know the name of your Google account and the password. Try and only have one email account with your Google account, and don't share your email address. Till we see you again, have a great day.